Hello everyone, my name is Knuckles. Eat your grapes, they're very healthy for you.
Yeah.
And remember, by Gran Turismo 7, it's great.
Says so by the attractive echidna by also me, Robotnik.
Watch Sonic Movie 2 in theaters April 8th.
Starring me! Alrighty then, my royal chums, it is I, Daniel. You may call me the Pop Culture Dude, and today, as we are in the finale of April 2022, where it's about to come to an end, I've been grinding so hard for making video after video, everything I had to say about Sonic Movie 2. From the spoilers review, the non-spoilers one, the Robotnik cosplay, and my recent big hit, the third movie predictions video that I made for Sonic Movie 3 has grown over 30k views on my channel, where it became one of my most successful videos of all time. So I appreciate your support for making my content grow. But aside from that, I want to get to make one last Sonic Movie 2 video. Not forever. It's the fact that I will make more Sonic Movie 2 videos, like whenever it's coming on Paramount Plus or maybe on DVD and Blu-ray, where they talk about bloopers, behind the scenes, and interviews, deleted scenes. You get the point where I'm coming from. I'll come back to make more of that, or future updates for the Knuckles series or Sonic Movie 3. But as of right now, just to end it off, since Sonic Movie 2 is now considered to be the highest grossing video game movie of all time, where it's going to increase more box office numbers before a certain Marvel movie that will take away the spotlight, I'm just glad Sonic Movie 2 is starting to become more successful, because, you know, the Super Mario Bros. Movie delayed their movie to April 7, 2023. Nearly a year passed by Sonic Movie 2, and I'm like, Nintendo was trying to steal Sega's thunder. But aside from that, this will be my last Sonic Movie 2 video for this month, and as of right now, and just for fun, let's unleash my Sonic Movie 2 merchandise review and a merch haul! That's where I'll be showcasing everything from the action figures to the Happy Meal toys to the plushes. I don't have the playsets just because, one, I think they're too expensive, and secondly, how will it be able to fit on this small shelf that has less space to provide, and I don't want it to be overstuffed with too much merchandise of this movie. So I'm just gonna show you like the best from what I got. So let's start doing it. Let's run it like this stuff! So first things first, just to make it simple, we're going to be reviewing the 9-inch plushies of Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles from Jakks Pacific. And I know there's a tall, fluffy Sonic plush, but I don't need it because I already got one from the first movie. And since the first movie did not have that much merchandise because, you know, Sonic was the only marketable character around that time, and secondly, due to the redesign, the toys weren't that great. So this is the only one I got from the first movie just because I thought this was the only good-looking toy from the toy line from the first movie. And basically, the only thing that's not accurate is the shoes, where it definitely has like shoelaces. While you compare it to this Sonic right here, it's obviously a lot more accurate, and he's a lot more taller in comparison. Like, if you see it between the two, you can recreate Sonic Generations, but it's the live action movie edition, but they're still the same character regardless. I mean, for this Sonic, he does have a voice box where he does have Benchboard's voice, but it doesn't work for mine because possibly I just pressed the toy too much. But other than that, that's the only toy that I got from the first movie. While for the second movie, since you got other characters like Tails and Knuckles, it's definitely an improvement. So as I talk about Sonic himself, he can definitely pose. You can make him like iconic running poses. You can make him just go flip. He's a lot more soft and fluffy on the texture. And I definitely say this is a really cool toy for a movie Sonic one, better than a prototype. And then let's go over for Tails, which he wasn't like too easy because both his tails are like so connected to each other, where if you want to shake it, kind of like brings in the weight where it's kind of heavy behind him. But I like the fluff that you have by his fur, including the fur on his hair. And he may not be as soft as Sonic, but he definitely has like some nice cuddly textures to him. And he may not be like as flexible as Sonic. You can move the legs, but the arms are just kind of stiff in a way. But other than that, I really like this tail plush. I mean, the only thing is they just connect the tail so it won't be like too far apart, and it just like grabs in the weight by saying, "Sonic, I'm a bit too fat." And then last but not least, Knuckles, who cannot sit in a proper position if I can put Sonic and Tails back to each other. I love Knuckles so much just because the face kind of looks like he's like sucking on a lemon or something. And what's cool about the gloves, you can definitely see the spikes on them, where if you want to stick them out or you want to close them in and just go punch it like, "Stand still and die!" Ah! And then just start punching. That's what I just like about Knuckles, though. He's a lot more posable when you can make him like flex his muscles and go knock knock. It's Knuckles, including his legs. He could definitely like stretch a lot more than Sonic and Tails. So if you wanted to do like push-ups like 1, 2, 3, what's the next number after that? And I just think that'll be pretty funny. Besides, I use these same plushes in my Robotnik cosplay video, which you should check out that video, by the way.
Hey, you got a little something on your Boy.
Someone call an Uber? It's cold in here.
Okay, we gotta talk about your new look. It's like the Monopoly Man.
Let's turn up the heat.
Return to sender.
But these are really good plushes. I mean, there's some that could have been done a little bit better, just like Tails, for instance. But other than that, I really love these plushes so much, and I got these two plushes from a friend of mine named Mobius Maddie, and I just got the Tails plush myself. But aside from Tails and Knuckles and Sonic, I decided to put Eggman into the mix because, you know, they never made a plush of Jim Carrey's Eggman, so I'm like, you know what? Here we go. I know it's the Sonic Boom Eggman with a huge big head. Like, come on. Now we got the four main Sonic characters that form into plushies, and I just think it's better off that way where you have the main characters all into one.
Ha! Sonic the Hedgehog, you're no match for me.
Ah, great, it's the Winter Soldier.
Papa's got a brand new stash. Ha! Later, haters! Pitiful.
And this is why I just think it's more fun if you include an Eggman plush, depending which one you own, and add it with the movie characters, then you got the main characters into plush form. But aside from the plushes, let's move on to the Jakks Pacific figures. As I got right here, I got exactly what I've wanted ever since I saw the merchandise. It's the Sonic Movie 2 2.5-inch figures of the main characters. Robotnik is Buzz Bomber, Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails, and I really love the work where it shows all the main characters in their posable respective figures, and I have reviewed it on my channel before, but I don't just own the 4-inch figures. I eventually just got these figures of Robotnik himself and Movie Sonic, and if you look in the back, it shows a bit bios of their details about Sonic's description. It shows the other characters like Tails and Knuckles, and same goes for Robotnik. The reason why I don't got Tails and Knuckles just because they're so expensive online and they could be delaying another month, so who knows, maybe I might get Tails and Knuckles in the future, but as of right now, I'm just satisfied for having the main hero and the main villain of both movies of Sonic Movie 1 and 2. But before I get to compare the small figures to the big figures, I want to open the Movie Sonic one first. Gotta go fast! Phew. Man, this figure was not easy to unbox. If you look at basically the plastic thing, whatever you want to call it, the spikes in the ears were so hard to come off out of the box that I almost thought I was going to break it. And to me, since this figure is definitely articulated into how many it says, into like 13 points of articulation, if it says on the box right here, it definitely includes the snowboard, which definitely looks like it's straight out of Robotnik's ship, but you know in the movie it's a Batnik, and obviously he needs to surf down where he gets to compete with Knuckles, who has the exact same accessory aside from Tails using an electric gun. But aside from that, the Sonic figure, I really like the mold, but the same issue I have with that figure is, if you look at it up closely, you have this paint mistake that you kind of have like, it's like a curve, like it's an upside down teardrop or something, because if you look at the art, it definitely doesn't have it, right? And then in this one, it's kind of looked like they mistaken the blue paint on it. But aside from that, I really love this Sonic movie figure that I kind of wish they did this for the first movie. You can articulate the head from left to right, like too fast, too slow. And as for the arms, oh boy, like basically his arms are very stiff, and you can make him hold, like, let's just say if he wants to hold the board, you can make him like carrying away and just go like, oh yeah, this is happening. The arms are very well articulated, but you got to be very careful so you won't break it. You can swivel the arm. You can do the same thing for this one. This one was the hardest, just to pull the joint, and it's more like, shoot, don't want to break this figure, which is why I'm not crazy on collecting action figures, because my fear is just to my worries of how sensitive they can be. Same goes for the feet. I mean, you can make them swivel, just like the hands of the gloves, where it's like left and right. I still like how they did the paint on the artwork, very accurate. And for the legs, just like the arms, it's really that sensitive. Like, you really have to make them kick if you want to like make articulate to a running pose, including from this leg, which is more sensitive than this one, where it just keeps popping off, where I have to keep on connecting. And then after that, you can just make him start running. Oh, there we go. Yay! Got the running shoes, where you just gotta go fast. Phew! But aside from that, let's just decide to test out the holes where you can just put in on his feet on the board. Let's just try to tap it in real quick. It's gonna take a while. Whoa, okay. It's kind of like sticking in. Make sure it doesn't like pop off, or Sonic is like sticking like one leg out. There we go. Now this is much better. See, now this could be fun if you want to post this like on social media for any Sonic merch collectors out there, and you could just go like, "Serious up, dude," and I guess the shoes were that kind of weak enough. I guess you gotta like keep on pressing it in and make sure the holes are in the right direction. Just push it in, and then voila! You can eventually start surfing in, and you can compete with Knuckles for those who has the Knuckles figure, and just go, "Eat your heart out, Shaun White! Woohoo!" The best thing about the board, at least you can make Sonic stand, because once we take off the board, he often becomes clumsy and then he falls it off. But aside from Sonic, let's get to from super speed to super genius. Where are my manners? Here we got my favorite movie character of these past two Sonic movies, Dr. Robotnik himself, and I gotta say, I will compare the small figure in a second, but he looks a lot like Jim Carrey if it goes, look, there you go. It's a lot more closer. You could definitely see the face. I love the detail on the bald head, including the brand new stash. I love how the way it's painted, and to be honest, Robotnik, in my personal opinion, he's a lot more flexible and less risky to pose than Sonic, because Sonic, I can see there's a bit limits when it comes to posing it, but I guess I gotta keep on playing with the figure to make him less so limited by breaking any limbs. But for Robotnik, oh my goodness, this is definitely my favorite figure so far from the toy line, just because it's Jim Carrey's Robotnik. You could definitely like stretch his arms out, including some of his hands, and go, "Hey, I!" Including the shoes that you definitely see like more of the gold pads. You can eventually start kicking the knee joints. It's more like, wow, even though this is like the only human character, which is arguably the best human character of these two movies, I'm so glad they actually make another Jim Carrey action figure ever since what, The Grinch or The Mask? It's been a long time. But aside from the figure itself, this is absolutely my favorite, and maybe because I'm biased, is that I love the colors, and once again, they really got the detail of Jim Carrey's face done right. But aside from that, we even got the latte with Steve Monster and goat milk, where you can make him hold it as he decides to drink it, because you know, like in the words of Dr. Robotnik, "I love the way you make them!" And the best thing about it is you can make him like, let's see if you can drink like, oh my goodness. I really love this accessory just because it's very adorable, and it definitely fits from how the way that you can just move Robotnik. And then here you have a close-up of the egg-shaped drone, aka the Batnik, where I'm kind of disappointed that there's no red in the center, but that doesn't matter. I love that you could definitely see the missiles where it's about to shoot, where it's about to go zooming into Sonic, and then Sonic could say his classic line from the first movie, "Your flying eggs are pretty impressive, Mr. Eggman, but let's face it, you'll never catch me."
Confidence! A full substitute for intelligence.
Pew, 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 pew. And then Sonic eventually starts like sliding away, and I really love this good detail. But aside from the 4-inch figures, I want to compare it to their 2.5-inch counterparts. And now I already unboxed the 2.5-inch figures, which I already made a separate video reviewing them, but now I got the little Sonic with the big Sonic and the little Robotnik with the big Robotnik. Sorry, Tails and Knuckles, your figures are just too expensive and so rare to find local stores, but who knows, maybe someday. But now looking at them in comparison, so yeah, both of them have the exact same issue of the paint mods, but obviously the difference is you cannot articulate the joints, only just the arms and only just the legs, and you know, with the 2.5-inch figures, they're a lot more safer compared to the big-inch ones, where they're definitely like a more high risk of breaking the limbs. But for these ones, they are just cute, they're small, they're safe, and you can just put them in your playsets, like whether that's the plain one or the Death Egg robot, it really depends. And you can see on the back side, it's pretty much the same thing, except this Sonic has like letters and numbers in the background, so I think that's pretty cool, where you have small Sonic and mini Sonic just going fist bump with each other, or in this case, a power bump as I like to compare it to. So aside from Sonic himself, we got the small mini Robotnik, and definitely this one is an improvement over the small one, because this one always keeps breaking the leg, and sure, you can pose the arms if you want, it's just that I just don't really like how the face is really that small when it's sculpted. This one is just more accurate to Jim Carrey's face, but the best thing about it, I could say that this is a little small genius in the process of Dr. Robotnik as his grown son. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for me. Yippee! And aside from the figures that I already shown, besides for Robotnik, we even got the Buzz Bomber that comes in with the 2.5-inch figures, where it's a lot more accurate to the video game, but in the style of the movie. So then I have both of the Batniks. I got the egg-shaped one and the Buzz Bomber, and I just think they're pretty excellent additions for Robotnik's Batniks, where it could just fly on over and be like, "Ah, my baby." babies. Look what came out of my egg sack. So as I place these Batniks down, I'm just going to go over the 2.5-inch figures of Tails and Knuckles since, you know, I don't have the 4-inch figures to compare them. But just to have them for what they are right now, Tails looks pretty adorable with this small itty-bitty bit face, and you can just move the arms where, once again, there's limits on making articulation because they're not the 4-inch figures. But the thing about Tails is, his legs could be a bit slow if you want to pick them up, like, for like either the left or the right one. And as for his two tails, if you want to stand, it has to be placed upside down so he could stand properly, because if you make it go up, whoop, he already slipped down like a banana peel. So that's all that I could say about Tails, since basically that's all that you could do with them. But I do really like that you can move the tails from like up and down if you want to use in the playset, like the tornado plane, for example. And then for Knuckles, which I definitely like how the way that he's molded, you could definitely like make his fist rise up. You can recreate the scene where Sonic charges to Knuckles, including the trailer where he goes, "Do I look like I need your power?" and then just slams him to the ground. And basically, as I place Sonic right there, we can see Knuckles that you can make him like he's having like a T-pose or something, including from his Lego boot tint type of shoes, where you can make him like kick, but not all the way, but only just like backwards if you want to like make Knuckles run, where he's eventually just started like, "Do you know the way? Do you know the way?" I'm just kidding, I just like the Uganda Knuckles joke. So basically, Knuckles is definitely like a lot more flexible when it comes to kicking the legs, including the arms. But as for the head, you can't really move it that much, and I expect the same for the 4-inch figure, the one that comes with the board itself. But aside from that, I definitely like the small inch figures just because they're nice for anyone who wants to collect merchandise for the movie. And I got something else that may not be related to the movie merchandise, but I discovered the source of ultimate power. So yeah, this is a huge, giant Master Emerald prop that I decided to use in my Robotnik cosplay video. And I think it would be funny that Robotnik eventually I could use this 4-inch figure and just go over and touch it. It just goes, "Chaos's power!" And it would be so cool, like, if they make a Wave 2, which they are developing one, that they can make a Robotnik figure with the black suit where he has, like, quote-unquote chaos energy. I would totally appreciate that. And I know this Master Emerald is pretty big in comparison to the small-inch figures, which I think they'll definitely be a good prop for, like, the big action figures that are definitely more taller than the smaller ones. So then it will just make a little more sense, if you know what I mean. But I just think that's, like, a little small detail that I just want to share with you guys with this Master Emerald prop that I decided to use as an inspiration for the movie. As I already reviewed the action figures, I like to compare these small little guys to their Funko Pop counterparts. And I know it's not related to the movie merchandise, but it's a nice homage for fun. So let's transition from the figures to the Funko Pops. The power of the Master Emerald is mine. And voila! You see what I mean by comparing the movie figures to their Funko Pops? Obviously, they're a lot more smaller in comparison, but as we look on Sonic as he's holding a ring and a finger wag, I decided to get this one just to make it as a homage to the first movie where he used rings to throw as portals. So that's Sonic right there. You can see a lot of detail on the painted blue, including the circle stand where he doesn't fall down. So that's Sonic the Hedgehog for you. Please don't fall, Sonic. And now we go to Tails, on the other hand, who is a lot more flocked and fluffy, which I already made a video about him like a year ago. He's the only one out of the 4 where you can twist his head from back and forth. He's a lot more soft, and you can see the 2 tails behind him, and that's all I could say about Tails. He's definitely cool. And then the one that was recent not too long ago was Knuckles, and I knew that Sonic was gonna fall. So as we got Knuckles on the other hand, he's definitely flocked just like Tails. He's also exclusive, but the one thing that kind of sucks is you can't really move the head, and the foot is kind of loose where it kind of like pops off the leg. But over we get to that, we get to the back side where it's definitely like a lot more accurate to his quills. I like the paint that they did with the shoes, and I like the pose that you can make for Knuckles as he's ready to give you a Knuckles sandwich. So placing Knuckles on the side, if I can stay Sonic standing up right here, and forget it, you don't even have any rings just like the Funko Pop. But let's move on to Eggman, which was the first Funko Pop that I did own. So comparing it to the movie counterpart and the video game counterpart, I like the eyebrows, I like the mustache where it's wide and big, and he has a bald spot that kind of looked like a baby's head, and I just like that has the evil pose in him. But that's all of the Sonic characters that I own, and I only collect them just because it's for the sake for the movie counterpart. So if they include Shadow for a third one, I might get the Shadow Funko Pop. But we're forgetting one, and it's none other than Donut Lord as an X-Men mutant, aka Cyclops. I know they don't have a Tom Wachowski Funko Pop because, you know, he's not officially a Sonic character that exists from the games, but I decided to be like, well, this is a character that James Marsden plays, so why not add him into the mix? So hey, we have Donut Lord as a superhero but in black clothing, and then he could be standing next to Robotnik and be like, I'm the Donut Lord, you son of a... The overall point is, even though this is the closest thing that I could have for a James Marsden Funko Pop, let's just pretend that this is Tom Wachowski, but he's in disguise of an X-Men mutant, so you can have Donut Lord and the Blue Blur back at it again. But all joking aside, that's all I could say about my Funko Pop comparisons of the Sonic characters and to their movie figure counterparts. And speaking of comparison to other figures, since I do have the Jim Carrey Dr. Robotnik, I'm going to compare it to my other Dr. Eggman Jakks Pacific figures, so I could prove that he is the top banana in a world full of hungry little monkeys. Allow me to clarify. And here we have comparisons of the other Jakks Pacific Eggman figures, modern, movie, and classic Eggman. And now to think of it, aside from their accessories, which I like them a lot, I can eventually think that I could make a Spider-Man No Way Home parody skit, but with the Eggmen themselves. Not trying to brag here, but I will. You see, I have a lovely assistant named Agent Stone. Agent Stone? That's great! Thank you. Who is that? Wait, you don't know who Agent Stone is? What, is he like a rock or a living boulder? And no, my friend. You see, Agent Stone's my lovely assistant who makes me some lattes with steamed Austrian goat milk. How is this helping? Oh, give me a big fat break! Look, it's not important right now. All we just need to do is, whenever we discover what this creature is, it's our job to secure it, neutralize it, uncover the source of its power, and we'll do roll calls one by one, got it? Okie dokie. Alright, I will be Eggman 1, Eggman 2, and what about you? Fine, I'll be Eggman 3. Alrighty then, let's go. Wait! Before you go, I have something to say. I love you guys. Do you love me, long time? What he's trying to say is, thank you. Both of you are too much. It's just brilliant to have 3 Eggmen into one. Remember the plan. Destroy the Hedgehog! I hate that Hedgehog! Time to get a load of this! But all joking aside, it's so great to have 3 iterations of the same character from classic to modern to movie all in one, and I think it would be funny that I recreated that Spider-Man No Way Home skit, but it's Eggman No Way Home, so they can eventually catch the blue blur that's been messing with their minds ever since the 90s. Well, for him, it's been for like the past 2 years ever since the first 2 movies. Destroy the Hedgehog! Yeah! Aside from the action figures, how about we move along to McDonald's? Yup, you got that right. I decided to visit my local McDonald's, where I eventually decided to keep of the 3 McDonald's boxes that has Tails, Sonic, and Knuckles. And since I got the 4 main characters as I wanted once again, it gives me good nostalgic memories back then when they used to sell Sonic the Hedgehog 3 toys based on the 1994 video game back then in the 90s, and now they did again for the movie sequel. And pretty much these toys are pretty much all the same, where you just switch them back, where they start racing and then fling them into action. One of the things I just don't like about these toys, it's the stickers. Like, were the stickers really that necessary to like put onto the characters so they can have like white shoes and you gotta stick them in? And the stickers don't really last that long, so that's like one of my biggest criticisms with these toys. But aside from the stickers, these are pretty safe choices, and I understand why you want to drag them and just push them forward so they can eventually just start racing. Even though Tails is on a snowboard, which, spoiler alert, he doesn't in the movie. But I really like Sonic and Knuckles from how the colors of their electricity is like representing blue, then you got red, and the best thing about it is if you want to make the Sonic versus Knuckles, you can eventually just make them clash, or you want them to compete each other in a race, they could just move each other just like that. And once again, I just don't like the sticker idea. Why can't the shoes be the same way as they need to be, where we don't need to attach them? And same thing with Tails, you can just take them off if you want to, but I don't see the point, because the reason why these characters have holes, because they need to be on the platforms. And there's a couple more, but I decided to get the 5 respective one. I will reveal the 5th one very soon. But this was one of the ones I wanted the most, and it was the Dr. Robotnik Death Egg Robot, but they call it the Giant Eggman Robot because, you know, you gotta make it clean for the kids so you don't have to use the word death to sell out for a product for a child. But the saddest thing is, it has like no articulation whatsoever, but the best thing about it is at least there's no stickers. And I like the detail of the green where it has the power of the Master Emerald, including the trees. So I can eventually recreate the scene where we have Team Sonic versus Team Eggman, which is basically only by himself with this giant robot, where Sonic's like, alright Mustache, you want to get me? Come and get me.
You don't tell me about coming and getting. I'm on the coming edge of coming and getting. Come and getting. Come and getting. Come and getting.
And last but not least, aside from quoting the movie and having so much fun, I got the spoiler that spoiled the movie in the first place. Aside from the Jakks Pacific toy, I got Super Sonic. And yes, I had to say, the McDonald's version got it way better than the Jakks Pacific figure from the playset, because first of all, yes, he is smiling. You got red eyes and the spikes are going up, which it should be red eyes, not green eyes where he's still smiling. But aside from that, I really say that the Super Sonic one is possibly my favorite one aside from the other 4, just because he has a nice pose and the cloud, and I just think by the stickers, like I just did my best of how I can attach the shoes as stickers on top of his feet, and you can just zoom in and you can just recreate the final battle where Super Sonic just charges in and not crash into Tails, but crash into Eggman's robots and eventually just destroy the robot and save the day. But aside from that, this is exactly for what I've owned for the majority of the McDonald's Happy Meals. Most of them are just other Tails, other Knuckles, other Sonic, and only just one Eggman robot, because I don't think they could make Jim Carrey's face into a mold. Because, you know, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles are just the more marketable characters. And since, you know, Shadow's going to be in the next film, it would be so cool if we actually get a Happy Meal toy, if they get to collaborate with McDonald's once again. Or since I got the movie Sonic action figure, it would be so cool if Jakks Pacific gets to make toys for the 3rd movie. Man, imagine the movie Shadow where you can make them face to face just like with movie Sonic and Knuckles. It's something small, but that would be so cool for Shout the Hedgehog's merchandise, especially since he's one of the most marketable characters from the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. Another reason why I decided to get the Giant Eggman Robot is similar exactly why I want the Super Sonic McDonald's toy, even though they're just Happy Meal toys, but I just think these toys just got Super Sonic and Giant Eggman Robot a lot more accurate than what Jakks Pacific done with the playset. I'm not saying that it's a huge letdown, but I don't like that it's purple. Like, what's the point of making it purple? Like, the toy's more detail and I like that. And same thing for Super Sonic, the figure does look nice, but this one has the red eyes where it's a lot more similar for what he looks like into the movie. And the Giant Eggman Robot, even though you can't do much with it compared to the Jakks Pacific one, because, you know, all you have to do is reverse the toy and then it just zooms. And I know it goes slow. But in comparison to my tiny Robotnik figure, I can have him by his side where it's nearly identical, where the figure's kind of tall, but you get the point for what I'm saying.
First Green Hills, then the universe, then the multiverse, then who knows? Maybe I'll be enough. Full disclosure, you won't be there.
Pew! So overall, that's pretty much my whole collection of the Sonic Movie 2 Happy Meal toys. I don't want to get more, like another Sonic, another Knuckles, and another Tails. I'm just satisfied for the top 5 most wanted Happy Meal toys in my collection. And plus, I think the box are just worthy to keep a part of the collection for memory's sake, and it just looks good just to put the Tails, Sonic, and Knuckles all together. But before I wrap up this video, I have one last piece of merchandise to share, and it's not a toy, it's none other than the Sonic the Hedgehog IDW comic book that I just got from the early advanced screening of seeing the movie pretty early. And as you look at the back, you see the initial poster where you see Tails on a tornado plane, Sonic, Robotnik and his egg pod ship, the Buzz Bombers, and it's a really cool poster, and I hopefully get a t-shirt of it someday. But as we move along, yes, it is based on the IDW comics, where it's definitely connected to the modern mainline Sonic franchise. And as we move on over, it's definitely more focused on Sonic and Tails. I like the art style, I like Ian Flynn's writing, and yes, just because of the movie sequel, there are some moments in the comic where Sonic and Tails do ride on the tornado plane, which is really good marketing if you decide to set it up for the very end. And then there you go. There's the live action version, and then at the end you just got yourself the comic book version. So I just think this is really nice for collector's sake, and I just think that this was a really nice gift just to have for free by watching the movie pretty early. So that's pretty much my last set of merchandise, and now we shall wrap up this video of showing everything that I own. As we're gonna start off with the plushies that I got, where we got the main trio, the first movie plush, the Eggman plush. Don't mind Mario and Luigi, I just think this is nice for a video game section. Then I placed the Jakks Pacific figures. I got an Eggman collectible that a friend gave me. Here's the McDonald's toys, the 2.5-inch figures, the 3 Happy Meal boxes, the comic books in the background, and then last but not least, the Funko Pops that I did review earlier in this review. And there you have it! This is my full Sonic Movie 2 merch haul collection of April 2022. And overall, this is pretty much the conclusion of my Sonic Movie 2 merch haul review. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as I said before, this is my last video for April 2022. My last Sonic Movie 2 video for a while, not forever, until there's more Sonic movie related news, whether that's the Blu-ray release for the second movie, or Paramount Plus, or Knuckles series, Sonic Movie 3. I'll be up in date for like all the future updates for the Sonic movie franchise. But if you made it this far, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have any Jakks Pacific toys collection, you can let me know down in the comments of which ones were your favorite from the ones that you've owned or the ones that I've owned, whether that's McDonald's, Jakks Pacific, the figures, the plushes. It doesn't really matter. Just let me know down in the comments. But anyway, that's all for today's video. I'll definitely see you guys in the next video. Take care now. Bye-bye then.
Papa's got a brand new stash.
Oh Lord, there are 2 of them now.
You're never going to get my power.
Do I look like I need your power?
Sonic the Hedgehog 2.